Hi friends, welcome back. So in this video, I'll be discussing very important interview question. If your client gives the bad feedback on the test coverage, what we should do? As a test lead or a test manager or as a test engineer, what we should do when your customer or client gives a negative opinion or bad feedback about your test coverage. That is the interview question here. So how will we answer this interview question? What are the various steps you would be taking in order to satisfy the client? That is the expectation. So let us see how we can answer this question. The first thing is, as a tester or a test lead, you should listen and understand the customer or client input. Unless if you do not understand why the customer is saying your test coverage is not up to the mark or not to their expectation, first we should listen to them and understand the overall situation, why they are telling like that. You should always avoid to be becoming a defensive here. Here you should always open for a constructive criticism, not just go on defensive mode and keep telling something. You should be more of a listening mode in this situation. That is the first thing you should do as a software engineer. And the second thing you should do is, okay, customer or client is saying there is a problem with the test coverage, then you should ask with various different questions to get a clarification why they are saying something like that. So you should ask lot of questions to get a lot of information why customer is saying so. And the third thing we should do is, we should also review our test requirements and objective. We got a clarification from the customer with all the inputs. Now we should review our overall test requirements and objectives as well, because that is where we have used our test cases to be developed using these test requirements and their objectives. First, we should review all those objectives and we should also compare those test requirements with our test cases which got executed. That is the next things we should do. And once we know that our test cases are is as per our client expectation, then there should not be any problem. In case if there is really a problem where it is not part of our test requirements or test objectives, then you should do the analysis where we should find out gaps in our test coverage. For that, we should do a root cause analysis to understand why we do not have enough test coverage which customer is talking about. By doing lot of analysis, we can easily find out where the gaps are. That is by doing root cause analysis. Basically, we will go further deep to know where the problem really is coming from. We should work with your team leads, you should work with your developers, you should work with your testers to see where the gaps are coming. You should do a requirement traceability metrics. By doing all those things, definitely we can clearly come up with a identification of gaps by using this root cause analysis. And the next thing we should do is, we should also involve stakeholders, because this issue is not just the feedback given for the tester. We should also talk to the various stakeholders to see how can we improve the situation in terms of test coverage by working with all the stakeholders, including client, development team and project managers on the feedback which the client has given. And also you should come up with a potential solutions as well for those feedback from the customer. Then once we have discussed with the various stakeholders, now our situation is we should come up with a solution for it. We know the problem, we did analysis, and it's a time for solution. That means you should have more test cases, might be refined existing one, or adopting new testing technique that is required to enhance your test coverage also we might require to look into. And the next one is, we should also prioritize our test effort, because unless if we are not prioritizing, because our resources are very limited, it could be hardware resources or it could be human resources or any resources in that matter, it will be very limited most of the time. Because of that, we should always prioritize your testing efforts. That is very key in this situation. Once we are able to prioritize by doing the right risk assessment, then our job becomes very easy in order to execute those prioritized test cases. And we should also see to that whatever the entire process you have followed till now, by understanding the gaps and doing root cause analysis, working with the various stakeholders, let's keep everything, these things, with the transparency with the customers as well, so that customers also feels that there are a lot of background work is happening and lot of efforts team is putting in order to mitigate or in order to reduce or in order to avoid these test coverage issues in future as well. By keeping transparency, that would really help the client to see things are going as per their requirement. Once the transparency is maintained, definitely customer also will understand the progress plus challenges which we are going to encounter whenever we are trying to incorporate the customer or client feedback. And the next one is, once we followed for a particular issue, now same thing we should adopt for all the other challenges which may anticipate or which we face in near future as well. For that, we should adopt the continuous improvement mechanism, so that these things doesn't see in our any further implementation or further future projects, so that we can adopt this continuous improvement methodology. Definitely we can avoid anything in future. And also we should do the retrospective as well. Once we are able to implement and once we are able to do everything and once we hand over to the customer, we should also keep doing retrospective more often, so that these customer issues can be addressed very easily in future as well. Once that is done, we should also set the expectation of the client as well, because there is a limited resources, limited budget, limited cost also is there. Because of that, we should set an expectation to the customer as well. Unless that expectation is not set, if client keep asking we need more test coverage, more things, more feedback with the given budget, sometimes that becomes very difficult as well. Because of that, you should clearly set the expectation plus scope of testing and potential risk or trade-offs made while coming of the test coverage. Also we should clearly define as part of your test plan or test strategy, so that they clearly sign off those expectations as well. So these are the some of the steps you should take as a test engineer or a test lead or a test manager. Whenever customer or clients gives the feedback to you, if you follow all these steps, definitely you can mitigate, or you can avoid, or you can solve this test coverage issue for your customer or your client. I hope you guys got a clear idea how to solve this problem or how to answer this question in any interview in that matter. Thanks for watching this video. Bye for now. Take care.